What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know.
This is not the first time you're going to see JMU.
Oh boy.
By the way.
Oh, okay.
It's not me, because my winner is Appalachian State.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Hey! Khalil and I just reversed it.
Yep. I mean, I kind of guessed it whenever I saw you had Texas State as a runner-up.
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, Joey
It couldn't have
Aguilar
been
having
done
3,700 yards and 33 touchdowns last year is absolutely
he's also on the
ridiculous.
Maxwell, preseason, which is the
Is
award for
he?
best quarterback.
Not-
Yeah, he is.
I'm
He's
not
on the
so-
Maxwell preseason.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned
watch
this.
list.
I know you mentioned this before, Khalid, but like Kanye Roberts, I think now that Nate Noel left in the portal, I think he's going to have a really good year because they kind of play very similar. Like if you watched them last year, they're like sometimes I got confused who was in the backfield. Like
It's like a 1A, 1B. I mean, they had very similar stat lines across the year.
Defense though is the only thing that scares me. Like both of the teams that I picked had very mediocre defenses.
Yes, however, and this is part of my
they were
reasoning
at the
having
bottom of the
App
Sun Belt
State.
last year. Appalachian State was dead last.
Yes, that is.
And
but
they
part-
lost their top two corners and one of their best defensive linemen.
They weren't dead
Yeah, but
last, but
they-
they were ranked.
They
towards the
returned
bottom.
9. They returned 9 starters though on that defense, which yes, they were still last, but it's still experience.
Yeah. I mean, Dana is right about Old Dominion. They had a bunch of one-score losses last year, but a bunch of those guys graduated too. So
Again, I think the big part is just Joey Aguilar finding his footing because they won 6 of the last 7.
yeah. And Sean Clark is a hell of a coach. Sean, it's like what's his name from Liberty? Like both of these dudes are gonna find FBS level jobs one day if they keep
Jamie
this
Chadwell.
up. Yeah, Jamie Chadwell. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, out of everything that you said, man, I know and the impressive thing about Appalachian State last year is when they started 3-4. They lost against North Carolina, Wyoming, Coastal Carolina, and Old Dominion, and everybody was like, "What the hell is going on with Appalachian State? We thought they were going to be better than this."
Yeah.
And then they took a step forward, and then they had a victory over Miami of Ohio in the Cure Bowl. So like the rest of their season, like the thing with them and Arkansas State is like their seasons were very similar when it came to like taking a couple losses. I mean, Arkansas State got mollywopped by Oklahoma in them, but you go to Appalachian State and it was kind of the opposite. They just had a bunch of close losses and they ended up turning their season around. I think I picked them on upset alert against North Carolina. And they almost was in there like swimwear though. So I don't know. I like Appalachian State to slowly squeak this one out. Again, I think the Sun Belt is going to be super tough. I'm sure you're gonna find us streaming at least 2 or 3 of these games this year. Looking at their schedules, I mean, it's just gonna be awesome. And I can't say enough about Boone, North Carolina. Like it's a beautiful place if you've never been. Go up there and go visit where Appalachian State. They're literally on a mountain. And it gets loud there, man. Gets loud there. But yeah, that's why I picked Appalachian State as my winner. Sor, you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean it's Appalachian State's going to be the Joey Aguilar show. They go as far as he can go. I mean, again, pretty much as we already mentioned, dude was
make this worth it, man. Joey.
Oh, do you have the signed card?
Yeah. This is a signed card right here.
I think this is okay. I feel like this is the first time you showed it, unless I forgot. I probably did. But yeah, again, Appalachian State goes as far as they go, or as far as Joey goes. I mean, again, definitely turns the offense into a pass happy offense, and again, he's responsible for winning 6 of those last 7. Again, named the Maxwell preseason award watch list. So there's a lot of hype around this dude. At the end of the season, he came out and showed it. You just got to hope that the momentum's still there. Defense wise, you got to hope you can fix that. But again, returning 9 defensive starters, it helps. Even if they were bad, it still helps. It is experience. It's familiarity with the defensive coordinator already. at that point, you just got to hope, if you're an Appalachian State fan, that they can just work out the kinks. You know, you've got the familiar faces there. Everybody knows everybody. You just got to figure out the problem and fix it.
Yep. Facts. Khalid?
Yeah, so I rocked with Texas State because I mean I have them winning the West. And before I get too much into the
Khalid.
Before I have them getting too much into the matchup against Appalachian State, I mean, Texas State has grown so much under GJ Kinney. I don't know how you say his last name.
Yeah, especially with the G and the J as his first.
Yeah, it's one of the names of all time.
Coach G.
Coach GJ. They won. They not only won in dominant fashion, but made their first ever bowl game this past year, right? With TJ Finley, who moved on, but they still, they upgraded at quarterback, which is kind of like a, you think, oh well, Finley had a really solid season there. Like, oh, they upgraded quarterback. Yes, like y'all mentioned, they added the former, the reigning Sun Belt quarterback of the year, and they also bring back an elite running back, probably the best running back in this conference, in Ismail Mahdi. So you have a great quarterback and running back duo, and they also have two wide receivers who are absolute dogs. Let me get their names. That'd be Joey Hobart Jr. and Cole Wilson. They're talented players, very productive as well. Wilson had over 700 yards and 8 touchdowns, and Hobart added 895 and 8 touchdowns. So that offense is looking good, and they return 9 starters on each side of the ball. They return 3 starters on the offensive line and have experienced transfers coming in. So it's not just like they're adding transfers who, couldn't get playing time. They're adding guys who they may not have been like full-time starters at their previous like Power 5 schools. They're guys though who have starts and a lot of snaps under their belt, which especially at bigger schools is very valuable at this level. Then you look at their defensive line as well. They added a former 5-star in Tumais Adelaye, who went from Texas A&M to Michigan State to Texas State. Clearly hasn't lived up to the 5-star billing, but still, he's probably has the most pedigree on that defensive line, maybe some of the most raw talent. So it'll be interesting to see how he does there, but it is still one of the best defensive line units, Adelaye aside. So in the trenches, they're really solid, right? They have an experienced skill position group on offense, and they're just experienced across the board on defense as well. So looking at that, like, it makes me think like, okay, they could do very well. Then you look at the schedule. Lamar, that's probably going to be a win, right? It's also, no, it's not. That was Incarnate Word. Then they play UTSA. Last year, they played UTSA, who, remember, right, had Frank Harris, and they played that game in San Antonio, lost by 7. This year, no Frank Harris. They place, and no Trey Moore on the defensive side of the ball. They host in San Marcos. So they'll probably win that. This is a game, this next one against Arizona State, that a lot of people think that they could win. The last time they played a Big 12 opponent was, oh, look, this past year, they beat Baylor in Waco by 11, 42-31.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they could beat Arizona State as well.
I don't know if Kenny Dillingham gets worse there. And if he does, he's going to get fired.
He might be able to beat Arizona State. Every good player at Arizona State just transfers.
I chopped it up to a loss. I do think that Arizona State will actually get a win here.
I think they did.
I agree. I think it'll be close. Losing Elijah Badger to Florida was a pretty, and even Jaden Rashada to
nobody cares about that guy.
Yeah, to Georgia also not good.
He gonna be transferring out anyways. He ain't gonna get no playing time in Georgia. Who are we kidding ourselves?
That's true. Then Sam Houston State, and then at Troy. Troy, they lose a couple of players, including their best receiver, Jabri Barber, who transferred here to A&M. Arkansas State, who Dante picked as his runner-up at Old Dominion. I do have them losing to Louisiana, though, because I think that Louisiana is going to be a really solid team. And then Louisiana Monroe, Southern Miss, Georgia State, South Alabama. I think those games are winnable. So I had them going 10-2 on the season with only losses to Louisiana and Arizona State. And that gets them, not just the West Crown, but a spot in the Sun Belt Conference Championship. And I think that they just match up better against App State. Their defense, it's going to be hard to stop that App State offense no matter who you are. But since both teams have potent offenses, I would even give Texas State, the edge there we have to see how they gel, right? The thing App State has going for it on an offense is continuity, but Texas State has a better quarterback, I guess you can debate that, but better quarterback, in my opinion, the better running back and better receivers, and they return more offensive linemen starters. To me, this is just a Texas State's going to edge them out in a shootout. And that's how I see it going down. But I do have Texas State beating App State.
All good stuff, man. Like I said, it gets more difficult as we talk about it and just keep looking at their schedule. And Big Fridge, Kennesaw State is probably going to be the worst team in FBS this year.
Yeah,
don't let them dynasties fool you.
Yeah.
They're still one of the worst teams in the dynasty.
Yeah, it's going to be nasty work, man. Now, as far as the other guys, man, Don, Hayden, they both have Appalachian State winning. The ECG winner will be App State based off of the majority. And Tony has JMU.
I can't lose, brother. It's my individual is the same as ECG. Other way, I'm good.
I agree with you though, Dana. Like Dillingham should get another year if this year goes down the toilet, because then he'll have 2 full seasons of recruiting under his belt, which would be really good for him. He's a really good offensive coordinator. Let's not forget what he did at Florida State. Let's not forget what he did in Oregon's first year there with Bo Nix, and then going over to Arizona State. I'll always and I mean he's my age. He's 34 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like he's young as hell. So shout out to the 34-year-olds. I appreciate you, man, holding it down. But yeah, this is how Appalachian State is the winner. We had Texas State as the runner-up, and Appalachian State is the winner based off of the majority.
Yeah.
Not everybody's in agreement with me.
Not bad.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.